Nikki here. Happy Sunday. I just got finished training my mom and I've been wanting to do an update for a while and I've been stalling and not doing it. The days get late and, you know, excuses. And I'm feeling good today. It's a beautiful day out. The temperature's actually coming up a little bit and it feels good and not having to wear a coat. But anywho, I wanted to let you guys know how I'm doing on my thyroid journey, and 6 weeks is now up. Actually, 6 weeks came and gone this past Wednesday. For those of you who may or may not have been following my journey so far, I decided to go to an endocrinologist, figure out if I in fact have hypothyroidism or not, if I possibly have Hashimoto's. The endocrinologist suggested that I actually come off all my meds, and that's what I did. For the past 6 weeks, I have been off Cytomel, which is considered T3. That's what I was taking, and I also decided to come off all of my supplementation as well. The only thing that I have been taking here and there is Element, which is little powder packets of potassium, magnesium, and sodium. I have been experiencing like some eye twitches, and could be stress related, could be low magnesium, or, you know, both, you know, having some stressors that are depleting my magnesium. And so I've probably had an Element packet, you know, maybe once every few days, and, you know, I've noticed that it does help with my energy. It helps with controlling the eye twitches and just keeping my electrolytes where they're supposed to be. I am a heavy salter. One thing that's really important when you're leading an animal-based lifestyle is to ensure that you're getting enough electrolytes. When you're not taking in many carbohydrates, you don't have anything to hold that water in your system to pull into your cells. So it's extremely important that you, one, maintain a high sodium intake to ensure that to ensure that those electrolytes are getting shuttled into the muscle cell. And yeah, so things have been going well. Let's see. Few things that I've noticed. I have been a little bit sick this past week, so energy levels have been relatively low. Aside from that, though, work is increasing, business is increasing, which is awesome. And I think the last, I would say, 3 weeks have been a little bit hard to tell what's doing what. I'm, you know, sleeping relatively well. I have a Samsung watch, and I've been using that to, hi Angela, to gauge where I'm at, and to, you know, I look at the data to see, okay, well, how do I feel first when I wake up before I look at the data? Because that always skews our perception. Ladies, as you know, when you get on the scale, you might be looking all hot and shit in the mirror, and then you get on the scale, and then your whole day's ruined. And so it's best to, you know, analyze how you feel upon waking before looking at any numbers. And how I feel in the morning does really well coinciding with the numbers that I receive from the watch. And what's really cool is that it measures, you know, if you're snoring, how many times you wake up, just how long your deep sleep is, how long your light sleep is, all of the sleep cycles that you go through the evening. And what I thought was really wild was this Friday, we had our cheat day. So I had my normal breakfast of eggs and bacon, but I added some apricots. And we've only been eating twice per day. And so we got some pastries at our favorite pastry shop at Madrid, European Bakery in Providence. We love them, and Sergio and their whole family. And then after that, we ended up having some pizza and more carby things. Lisa, hi! And a lot more carby foods. And typically I snore after a cheat meal because, you know, you're eating foods that are not good for you, one, and you can feel like in your throat, everything just feels like becomes more congested and kind of gross. And I slept great. I don't know what that means. I'm trying to figure that out. I felt it when I woke up. Like, I woke up naturally before my alarm, and I was like, whoa, this is different. It was really different. And I don't know what to do with that. I don't know how to replicate that feeling without consuming that kind of food. Because again, a lot of the stuff that I ate was like lower fat, more carby, like sugary foods. And my sleep score was like a 95, 100 being the highest. And that's like the highest sleep score I've gotten in weeks. Mine are usually in the 80s at best, mid 80s. Hey, Jerry, mid 80s. And so I think I have to experiment with that, because what I've been doing is 2 meals per day. I usually try to eat, my second meal by 6 p.m. or so. And again, I'm going low carb. Most of my carbs, any carbs that I do have, will come from cheese, or like if I have a cappuccino, I do goat milk. And so I'll get a little bit of milk sugar from that. But otherwise, low carb. And then once a week, we'll have a cheat meal. And that's, typically junk, I gotta be honest. And then yesterday, what I did was had some dried fruit with my second meal to see if that would in fact help with my sleep. And the problem is I went to bed too late. So I need to work on that. I think the watch is a great tool to be able to kind of perfect, how you feel, your sleep patterns. And I don't know where my thyroid is at yet. So I don't know if that's also a component. And when doing this, I've been able to just really just envelop the process, just try to stay as consistent with my eating, my bedtime, getting up, just trying to control as many factors as possible, so that I could really start to understand what's doing what. And like I said, Friday kind of thwarted that whole entire process for me. But I think that's what I'll work on. My goal right now is just kind of get this cheap food out of my system and go back to low carb, and then maybe experiment 1 or 2 days a week, adding in a little bit more carbohydrates to see how it impacts my sleep. One other thing that I've been trying to look at, as you know, being mid 40s, focusing on reproductive health and where I'm at with regard to perimenopause. As I'm getting older, moving into menopause, I actually bought an ovulation test kit to see when I ovulate. When we don't ovulate, women, we don't produce progesterone, and progesterone is like a vital hormone for us. It helps us sleep. It makes us feel good. It's a normal hormone that spikes after ovulation. So if you're not receiving that hit of progesterone, that second half of your cycle, you're going to be all kinds of jacked up. I mean, your whole entire system is out of whack. And this is unfortunately what birth control will do. It's a artificial way of controlling your system, and wreaks havoc on your system, and your body doesn't know how to run on its own. And I don't believe it's a solution for anything. I mean, other than birth control. I mean, it's great at that, but it's not helping your PCOS. It's not helping you regulate your periods. It's not doing any of that. Okay, it comes down, hey Steve, it comes down to finding the root cause of the problem, which is what we don't do in the US. I was just talking to my mom about this. Our preventive care absolutely sucks ass. We always want to put band-aids on everything, and we have this huge increase of functional doctors, and they're only can do so much. And even then, there's a limited capacity as to what they're able to do based on research and what we know today about finding the root cause of things. And so going back to ovulating, I should be right now. I can feel it. This morning I could feel it. I could feel the water weight. I could feel like my lower abdomen, a little bit of crampiness, just a little bit of agitation. I also think that's also coming off of a cheat meal. I usually feel that way after my system's just trying to get rid of all that crap. But what the watch does is it actually uses your skin temperature to predict where you're at in your cycle. And so to help determine if the watch is actually accurate, I have ovulation test strips that I'll actually test my urine to see if I'm ovulating. And so I'll do that today and tomorrow to see if I'm in that area. And the reason why I want to do that right now is to when I get my blood work. So I will go in next week to get my blood work, and I want to see where my progesterone is at. So I'm getting all the labs, like everything, all CBC, CMC, complete metabolic panel, lipid panel, thyroid panel. We'll also get tested for Hashimoto's. I asked my physician's assistant to do all my minerals. So I'm getting vitamin D, all the vitamins, all the minerals, like all of it. And the other thing that I did get off of was actually my testosterone therapy. I was taking about 12 milligrams a week. I was injecting every other day. And as of February 7th, I decided to come off of that completely. And again, I know it's a lot of factors that I'm throwing into the mix here of things that have changed. So it's kind of hard to know what's doing what. But I wanted to be off of that for a little while. I wanted to see how I actually feel and what my blood work looks like. So coming off the testosterone therapy, I have noticed energy level drop a little bit more. My strength is still great. Sex drive is a little bit lower. And I don't know, everything else seems to be okay. My skin is a little bit better, which could be a result of changing to a lower carb diet. But I also think it's part of the injections, because I was noticing that I would get some skin irritation after I would do an injection. And not just the normal face stuff that I would get before my period, but even on my chest, I was floored. I have never, ever had any kind of acne on my chest. For me, it's always going to be like around here and here. And then I'll get like a couple like light ones on my back. And so maybe it's not for me anymore. And, you know, I know 4 weeks is not really enough to really see where my actual testosterone production is, but maybe it'll give some indication, you know, some indication of where I'm at. And it will also help get my other hormones, you know, more regulated, so I know where everything is at, relatively speaking. So when you take one hormone, it's going to affect the other ones. We'll see. We'll see how the blood work comes out next week. I will keep you guys updated on that. I'm already trying to figure out what sort of supplementation that I want to bring back in. A few things that come to mind is the magnesium, because of the eye twitching. However, I think I might be able to control that with taking LMNT supplement powder. So I might order some of those and maybe have 1 to 2 packets per week. Powder delivery is always, hey James, powder delivery is always going to be a faster mode of delivery than pills, and you're going to get ingested as soon as you put it in your mouth. And I want something that's going to work rapidly and work in my system and move through it, so it doesn't have to get all the way down to my stomach to break down and yada, yada, yada. And then the second one is actually iodine. And I've been doing more research on iodine. I've been watching videos by Dr. David Brownstein out of Michigan. He has some profound anecdotal evidence and research about iodine and what it does for all the tissues of the body, all the cells of the body, and even looking at the progression of cysts to tumors to cancer, how important iodine is for our tissues. And if you guys want more information on iodine research, Dr. Elizabeth Bright and also Dr. David Brownstein are really good resources to understand a little bit more about iodine. And with that, with iodine comes learning more about the thyroid. And I also, you know, read a couple of abstracts about some research that was done about how we used to eat, right? If we were more carnivore, animal-based diets, our natural T3 levels are actually lower because of not having carbohydrates. And they're finding evidence that it's not necessarily that our soil is lacking in iodine so much as we are taking in more carbohydrates. So it's taxing our thyroid more, and it's making the demand for iodine go up. And so I think there's a twofold thing. I think it's both. Personally, I think it's both soil quality and the availability of iodine in some of our foods. That's one problem. And I think the actual second problem is the fact that we're consuming so many poor quality carbohydrates and taxing our thyroid even more, that it's causing our iodine needs to go up. Either way, I think we need more iodine. And that might be something that I throw in there as well. And then we'll see what my minerals look like. Vitamin D has always been low for me, given where I live, and my skin color is going to block my skin's ability to absorb vitamin D from the outside. And we'll see. I think I really want to do it one at a time. I'm already sporadically taking the element, so the change in that will be just taking it more consistently to see how it affects the eye twitching, and even if it affects energy levels. That's another thing, you guys. If you're doing well eating, right, and you're taking in nutritious foods and whole foods, and you're still feeling kind of tired, but you think that you're taking in enough calories, it really could be that your electrolytes are off. And I love these packets because it really has the best mix of the electrolytes that the body needs. And you can just start with salt if you want. You can just start with, I like Redmond's Real Salt. That's what I use. If you even try adding more salt to your food, or adding a little bit, I like salt in my coffee too. I know I'm weird. But if you notice that you're even getting, you're feeling more hydrated, you have more energy that way, that could be what's going on. So there's so many factors that come into play. Even when you're doing all the right things, something's still off. You can try to check into that and see if that's an issue. What else? Yeah, I think that's about it. So just trying to get over being sick. I still kind of have like congestion a little bit in my chest. Don't know if it's a combination of the weather changing and allergies, or if it's just whatever's been going around. I'm frustrated because I thought I was going to get through this season without getting sick, but I did. It's not terrible. I had a sore throat for 2 days and then went from a dry cough to a more productive cough. So it's just a lingering annoyance, making me a little bit tired, but it wasn't enough to put me down and out, which I was happy about. Still been training, wearing my mask, of course, and protecting myself, and I'm protecting others. I don't want to get other people sick, but I also need to do what I need to do, and that's the best way for me to have the best of both worlds, and protecting other people from getting my cooties. I will get blood work next week. I need to make an appointment with the endo. I already have an appointment with my physician's assistant at the end of March. And I think I'm up to date. Oh, nails. Okay. So one of my old clients, she had written into, she's actually a physician's assistant, or no, I'm sorry, nurse practitioner. And she was saying that she didn't have any clients or patients who had successfully coming off thyroid medication. And, she gave a list of things to be aware of to look for symptoms. No anxiety for me. PMS is down to a minimum. Ovulating period right now down to a minimum. My nails are freaking growing like crazy. My right hand's a little bit shorter, but they're long and they're strong. And the problem is I'm a klutz, and when they break like, I mean, they're hard. Like, I don't know if you can hear that, but they're not bending, they're breaking because they're so strong. And I bump into things that hard. And so my nails have been beautiful. Like I said, my skin has been doing well. Hair is hard to tell. I've been trying to put like rosemary in my hair. Sometimes I'll do castor oil. I've been trying to treat my hair frequently. Problem is I don't wash my hair every day. And then I also don't want to put like too much oil in my hair every day. So it's not as consistent as I'd like. I tried the rosemary water, but because again, if I do my hair straight, I don't want to wet it. It doesn't want to be wet. So I just have to redo it. So that means I'm putting more heat on it. So that has kind of defeated the purpose. But I do have rosemary oil. And I also, one of my clients, Kevon, he recommended this beard oil, which I use in my hair. And I love the smell of it. And or he thinks I smell like a man, but it smells great. And I use that with a little bit of the rosemary oil. And like as far as how it looks, it seems to be a little bit shinier. It's not quite as dull. I've been trying to trim it occasionally just to get, make sure my split ends don't move up. I'm noticing like some of the shorter hairs that I have like back here seem to be a little bit longer. But it's just, I'm not seeing it in the ponytail yet. And that's the only symptom, aside from being, you know, a little bit fatigued and tired. My hair has been the only symptom of possibly still having a thyroid problem. But again, I don't know what's normal. I've been on this stuff for so long. I don't know what I'm actually supposed to feel. And now that I'm, you know, like I said, I have a clean slate, I can now do some biohacking and figure out what I can take and not take to help elevate my energy a little bit. And that's going to come and go depending on also my schedule as well, and how hard I'm training and all the things, my diet. Again, it's a lot, you guys. It's a lot of things to figure out, which is why I get help when I need help. Coaches need help too. And this is why I do what I do. I love it. What I do, I love helping other people get back to just feeling good. You know, it's a lot of work, but once you get it, you don't want to let it go. And that's what I'm trying to get my clients to achieve. And yeah, I still prep clients, I still work with athletes, but the majority of the people I've been working with are truly people who just want to feel good. They're in their late 30s, 40s, early 50s. They have beautiful children they want to take care of. They have grandchildren on the way, and they want to live their best life. And I help them achieve that. All right, long enough. I got to get home, get some work done. I'm getting a massage later today. I'm super excited. But that is my update. I'll probably just get back on when my blood work comes in. I will show you guys my numbers and where I'm at, and, you know, give you a little more details on my diet so that you can see how that relates to my numbers. All right, guys. Happy Sunday. I hope it's beautiful out where you are. I don't know if you can see in the back. It's super sunny out. It's, I think, in the high 40s, low 50s. I'm roasting in the car right now. But we'll talk soon. Thank you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And I hope some of this helps you guys out.